We gotta talk about some backstabbers. I'm not gonna call any names. AEP, elected officials, but no, more on a real note. There really is a lot going on that we need to talk about, and I thought it very much prudent to kick things off with that song tonight. So thank you for actually tuning in, because earlier today I shared a Facebook post that sparked a lot of conversation, and that conversation it sparked told me that we needed to go live for a variety of reasons. And let me just start off by saying one of the main reasons why you haven't seen us live in the past several days and weeks is number one, we've been growing the show, and not only growing nightly news, but we've been working on producing several other shows for the relaunch and the launch of our app coming up in a few months. But not only just that, but there's just a lot going on. We're doing something very big, and you will hear about it in addition to the app, and you all will love it. But the reason why we are here tonight is because we need to talk, and you all need to talk, and that was apparent to me, but because all I did was share a post, and that allowed the engagement and the conversation to begin. And the post I shared was from brother Pat Deering earlier today, and all it said was no one in Central Ohio should pay their AEP bill this month. And let me say, I definitely do agree with that statement wholeheartedly and 100% that no one should pay their AEP bill this month. But let me tell you, the reason why I am truly pissed off has a lot to do. Yes, they are turning off power in black and brown and poor communities in this city. But I am more pissed off that they neglected to notify us as paying customers that they were going to turn the power off, willfully knowing that a lot of people in these black and brown and poor communities have medical issues. Not only do we just have medical issues, but we need electricity, not just for oxygen, not just for the CPAPs and the BPAPs, but we need electricity because a lot of us in Black Columbus are diabetic, and because we are diabetic, we have to refrigerate our insulin. Come on, let's get real for just a second. We have to refrigerate our insulin, and because some of us couldn't refrigerate our insulin, it now has gone bad. So what I have been doing late this evening with the team, and I told the team, like, look, we aren't going to cover anything that's going on right now, because what does it matter just to talk about all of this if you aren't going to be about it and offer a solution? So we've been working behind the scenes on with a lot of people trying to come up with some solutions, and we'll have some for you tomorrow, especially when it comes to this whole medicine thing. It really pisses me off because not only do I have a lot of family members on insulin and who need oxygen and BPAP and CPAP machines, I know a lot of others, and a lot of you have reached out calling us here and calling me in particular, talking about how you need and how your insulin has gone back. One person called today, and they told me that they were looking for a hotel and couldn't find any hotel rooms or anything available in the city, and that they knew when they finally found one, they were going to be spending their very last, and they didn't know how they were going to provide and put food on the table for the rest of the month when power finally did come back on, because they just spent over $200+ in food. And that food was just to get them through the next week and a half to the next payday. But now with all of the power just willfully being turned off, and the vice president, Another reason why I'm so pissed, and you all should be pissed too, is it wasn't a public information person who got on TV and said this. This was a vice president who got on TV and said we willfully turned the power off. But then in the same notion and in the same connotation and in the same breath and same sentence, he tried to say, oh, well, we didn't turn it off in just black and brown communities. Well, shit, if we look at the zip codes, I can't make this shit up. If we look at the zip codes 43211, 43224, 43229, and the South Side zip code, black and brown communities. Southville, I can't tell you how many community leaders and organizers who I've been in communication with today who have told me that they're worried about their seniors in their community. Not only are they worried about their seniors in particularly, but they're worried about the ones who are bedridden and who can't like get up and provide for themselves because it's extremely hot. But yet they, AEP, like willfully cut off the power for no fucking reason. Yes, they say it was causing stress on the grid and all of that, but here, let me take this a step further. They could have notified everybody without a problem, because they notify you when they're about to cut our shit off because we were a day or two late because the paycheck rolled in late. They can notify us then when they want their money, but they can't notify us that they're about to turn our shit off willfully, and we've done paid our bills. But y'all don't want to have that conversation. Y'all don't want to have the conversation about how city council should have done like 3 different things already. The first thing they should have done is they should have already held an emergency city council meeting. And don't tell me they can't do the shit, because they do, because just about every piece of legislation they pass now that has some sort of financial gain to it, they call it an emergency, and that's how they're able to release the funds so early. And so what they could have done already was had an emergency city council meeting, everybody, and immediately pipe some more funding to parks and recs so the rec centers could stay open for the next 24 hours over the multiple days while we're going through this, while power is being restored, so they could be cooling centers. But now I got to people now have to worry about going to the rec centers because there was a mass shooting that we aren't calling a mass shooting, when the very definition of a mass shooting is that 3 people or more are killed, and I mean, not killed, but shot. 3 people or more are shot. And while 3 people were shot and 1 died, that's technically a mass shooting that happened at Glenwood Community Center or Glenwood Rec Center, whichever you choose to call it, right there on the hilltop. But we don't want to have that conversation about that, about how when that happened in the parking lot, the first assistant chief Potts got on TV and told all of us reporters that it could have been multiple shooters. They don't know at this point what they believe they're looking for multiple shooters. But not only that let's continue to progress the story a little bit further, because it gets worse. It really does. There was at least probably 100 or more people out at the pool and just in the vicinity of the community center when this all took place. So now folks have to worry about whether they're going to be safe going to these different cooling centers. But now we don't want to have this conversation about how what's happening right now, and it's not even officially summer with this heat wave, is the apocalypse, and that Andy, our mayor, y'all's mayor, did not plan for this. He did not have a plan in place, and hasn't he said he's planned for these type of things, and he has had not one plan in place. He has not tried to go and implore council, even though he can't officially call council back into session. Only one person can do that. That's the council president. But he has not tried to reach out and to implore city council to come back into session to issue emergency funding. Let's take this a step further now. Not only that, but check this out, everybody. What city council could have done once they had the released the emergency funds, and they're keeping the centers open, is done that public-private partnership thing they like to talk about. Yeah, with local restaurants and things like that to have food at these different rec centers. Maybe they can't offer it 24/7 or like 3 times a day, but you can offer one hot meal a day and water and all of that throughout the day there, where people can go and be cool throughout the day and throughout the night. But yeah, we don't want to have that conversation. Y'all didn't want to do that. But not only that, city council should be doing what Congress is doing, and that is city council should have by now said we are going to haul the CEO of AEP and the VP, vice presidents of AEP, before us to tell us why they neglectfully and wrongfully did not tell our citizens who voted us in office, who we represent, why they did not tell them they were going to cut their power off, and they all paid their bills. City council hasn't done that, and Liz, Shannon, Shayla, Emmanuel, Rob, Nick, Lourdes, all of you out there, and I don't think I left one name out of the 7 city council members. Y'all need to do something, because this shit is fucking unfathomable that y'all allowed this shit to happen. What happened to the checks and balances? But yet y'all don't want to have that conversation. Y'all don't want to have the conversation that y'all do a lot of that, public-private partnership thing again with AEP. I'm just saying. But not only do y'all do that whole public-private partnerships thing with AEP, y'all don't want to have the real conversation that they have been neglectfully not improving the grids for years and saying they are. It's obvious now. But y'all don't want to have that conversation. We also don't want to talk about how it's not even officially summer yet, and we got heat like this. What's going to happen in the heat in the middle of July? What's going to happen not just in the middle of July, but what's going to happen in August? I'm just saying, I'm just kind of trying to state some facts here and have a conversation about like what's really going on. But y'all don't want to have that conversation. Y'all don't want to like talk. This is some real shit going on if we're being honest with ourselves. We can make all the fucking excuses for them that we want, but I got news for you all. An election year is coming up next year. Not just that, there's an election year coming up right now. I got news for you all that while the only reason why I'm able to sit behind this mic right now is because I've been on the phone with real people. I've been leveraging all of the contacts that I have from being a journalist to actually get real shit done behind the scenes. I probably have organized more meetings to have tomorrow to get some real shit done for all of us in Black Columbus, and not just Black Columbus, all of us in Columbus, and all of them have done on city council today or in the last 2 days. I'm not throwing shade, I'm just stating facts. I've been on the phone with CEOs. I've been on the phone with other elected officials saying, hey, look, we have to do something more than just these damn photo ops y'all been doing all damn day, because that's not working. And not only that, but let's take this a step further. When I got out the car this morning, because my power's out, so I stayed over at my mother's. And so the first thing I told my mother this morning is I hope and I pray to God that our firefighters are safe. And then today, didn't 2 major fires happen? They had a 3-alarm fire that they were battling here in the city, but then they had a 2-story fire that happened right off of Mount Vernon Avenue. And at one of the fires, 2 firefighters got hurt, but they're all right. They're going to survive. But firefighters in heat like this, we really need to be worried about them, because when you go into a fire, hell, it's already hotter than holy hell in there anyways, and then you add this heat and it's 97 and 98 degrees, and not only is it just 97 and 98 degrees, but it's feeling like 110 and 115, and then you add 200, 300 degree blaze coming from the flames, like, oh shit, that's like fucking dangerous and insane, and you wouldn't run into it. So yes, we need to be thinking and looking out for our firefighters too, and when we see them, thank them for what they do, especially during times like this. But yet we don't want to talk about real issues like that. Now, I know there aren't a lot of people tuning in and watching and listening to this now, and I know that because I know the phone towers are all screwed up right now, but I also know people's phones are dead and that they can't plug them in because they don't have electricity. And I know not only can they not plug them in because they don't have electricity, some people are trying to preserve their battery in case something happens. So I'm not too worried about everybody tuning in, watching this. The people who need to see this and need to hear this are watching right now and listening, because we all were having a dialogue, and some of y'all were like, y'all are wrong for saying what you're saying about AEP, but you need to realize the reality of how in bed AEP is with the city, with the elected officials that yes, we put in office, and we put them in office because if your ass didn't go out and vote, they won because your ass didn't go out and vote. They didn't win just based off me not voting for them or voting for them. They won because we all didn't get up off of our asses and go vote. It just is what it is. And now shit like this can happen. But we need to hold them accountable. But we not only need to hold them accountable and just like really, really hold them accountable to a level they've never been held to here in this city, but we need to make sure we're putting our money where our mouths are, meaning that we can't just talk shit and not back it up, meaning you got to back it up by voting. You got to back it up by going to your area commission meetings, your city council meetings, your school board meetings, and all of this, being a well-informed voter, because also this happened because we gave AEP more power about a year and a half ago in a ballot initiative they had on energy. And so some of us may see a supplier cost that we knew nothing about, and AEP is getting paid twice by us, and that's why our bill's gone up by AEP. So you may see something in the supplier section of your bill saying you're being billed by AEP Energy, and you're wondering what the hell is that, or you're thinking, oh, that's just AEP. No, baby, that's like a technically a separate entity from AEP. Yes, it's AEP, but they operate as their own entity, so they're now getting double money from you. They're now getting that supplier money from you, and they're now getting the electricity money. Wow. We'll talk about that. But we all need to understand that there's a lot of shit going on, and it's up to us to be well informed and to vote and to hold all these people accountable. Now, there are for all of you watching, some real resources out there right now. So if you know elderly person or a senior citizen who happens to be fortunate enough to have power, not only check in on them, not only make sure they've eaten, not only make sure they have water and that they're well taken care of, but also, if they happen to not have a fan, you can go down to the County Department of Aging, and they're giving out free fans to those people. I didn't say go down there and try and get one for your black ass. I said go down there and get one for the elderly in your neighborhood who may not be able to get out because they're elderly and they're not mobile. Be a good neighbor, be a good steward. But not only that, resources available out there. If you've lost your food, yes, everybody's saying go to aepohio.org and fill out that claims, but they want receipts and all of this other verification stuff. So while you're doing that, I implore you, if you got your do that. But I also implore you, if you've lost your food, there's another resource out there being offered by the county through Job and frankly Family Services, where you can go online and fill out a form. It has to be within 10 days of you losing power, and you have to have lost power for 48 hours or more, and they can check all of that, but you need to put on this form, you'll be able to put down the estimated value of food you believe you've lost, and they will work with you over the next several days to try and reimburse that to you through an EBT card. That's another resource out there. Now, I'm giving you a couple resources. Now it's up to you to make sure your neighbors, your friends, your family has them. It's now up to you to now mobilize and to give a damn. Now tomorrow I'm going to come back on here and I'm going to give you more resources, myself and my team and some friends and some community leaders and some community organizers are strategizing and working on. Because yes, we're going to call Andy and all the city council out, but we can't just continue calling them out and not having a plan of action to help the people while calling them out. You got to have a plan. And so it was just brought to my attention that there was a big, or not even a big, there was about 30 to 40 people or less at AEP's headquarters today during the protests, but they didn't really know what they were protesting. They were protesting all of this, but they really didn't have like a plan of action. And I'm so tired of us protesting and being out there, especially in dangerous heat like this, and we don't really have a plan or a strategic, straightforward plan of what's going to happen. Like, we're going to go protest, but while we're protesting, we are going to be doing X, we're going to be doing Y, we're going to be doing Z, all at the same time. We got to walk and chew at the same time. It's good to protest, but we also have to be willing to put a plan of action in play all at the same time. And we got to realize that. But if we don't put a plan of action in and move and talk and walk at the same time, the protesting is all for nothing. It's all just for the photo ops Andy did today. He held a press conference in front of a water park. What was that really about? And he had the public, the city health commissioner out there and someone else taking questions in front of a pool. Why weren't you meeting with the AEP execs trying to figure out what the hell's going on? Oh, yeah, we know why. They're in your pocket. They've contributed a great amount of money to your campaign. But we don't want to talk about that. I mean, that's all I got right now. Don't got no more. This is some real fucked up shit that's going on. They turned off the power without notifying us. That's the big problem right here. They willfully and neglectfully didn't notify us. But when they come to turn and disconnect our shit, they notify us then. They notify us with paper, they notify us with emails, they notify us with text messages. But all of a sudden, they can't text, they can't call, they can't email, they can't mail out shit. They've done forgot how to do that. But I got news for them. And mark my words. I mean, mark my fucking words right now. If somebody dies as a result for this AEP, I will not let you live this shit fucking down. Let us find out that somebody died as a result of your negligence. I will not stop at anything until the CEO and until every person in that C-level suite is held for negligence homicide. Mark my words. I don't give a damn, because this is some bullshit that you cut power off for what you say is to not create as much stress on the power grid. But how are we supposed to know that? All I know is you didn't notify the black and brown communities in which you cut the power off in. And you say it wasn't just black and brown communities, all right, but it was predominantly black and brown communities when you look at the zip codes and where you did it and where the 125,000+ people were without power. But I'm going to get off here. I'm going to get back to sending out some more emails, making some more phone calls to make sure tomorrow when I come back on and I tell you what the plan of action is, that it won't be because I was just sitting here running my fucking mouth all night. No, it won't be because of that. Haven't done it all day. I've been on the phone, putting in the work, trying to figure out how to make these people bring forth the appropriate and the right help that they should be. And yes, I do have a great amount of their cell phone numbers, and yes, I have been calling them directly on their cell phones like, hey, this is really fucked up. We all know that, but now it's time for you to do your damn job. And tomorrow I have meetings. No, with everybody ranging from the Red Cross to a few other medical outlets to figure out how can we replace people's insulin and replace other medications that needed to be refrigerated. Because there's already plenty organizations right now working to replace the food. So what can we do about the real thing that's keeping folk alive? And then I don't even want to begin to talk about the people right now who not only need oxygen, but they need the BPAP and CPAP machines to stay alive and to be able to breathe at night. Don't want to talk about that. Don't even want to begin to have that conversation. I'm going to hop off here. Remember, Black Columbus, if we don't care about ourselves, if we don't look out for one another, nobody fucking will.